so honored to have you on with us today because,
Oh, thank you.
well, first of all, we've been listening to music forever, and we've seen you a whole bunch throughout South by Southwest and through all kinds of appearances. But now we got to learn a whole lot more about you and the journey and the struggles. And wow, it's got to be quite a thing to put something out there like this, right?
It certainly is. And I think that Robert Schwartzman has done a wonderful job in directing and producing this documentary. And we're eternally grateful to him. But I have to say that when I sit down and watch an hour and a half of our lives
Yeah.
from sort of 18 until the present day, it's quite an emotional thing when you sit there and watch it. Obviously, I've never seen myself up on the screen portrayed in this way. You know that this is my life in an hour and a half. So it's very interesting, it's very exciting, and it's very emotional.
Yes, and I'm sure kind of an out of body experience too that you don't always expect. But sometimes it's kind of nice to be able to see it and to be able to get the accolades, while you're here to see it. Because a lot of people don't get that.
Absolutely, and the Zombies had a very strange career in that they didn't really get the accolades when they were active in the first place between 64 and 67. A lot of people, I know this is really bizarre, but a lot of people have discovered the Zombies in the last few years
Oh
and
yeah.
are discovering the Zombies now 60 years after the band broke up. It's a very strange experience, but in a way maybe the excitement of being appreciated now is intensified by the fact that it's been so delayed, and also it's so unexpected. I thought people had forgotten about the Zombies years ago. I'm not saying that with any joy. I mean, I would have liked people to have been appreciated the Zombies more when they were together, of course. But it's happened this way around, and it's fantastic that we get this kind of response and appreciation at this time in our lives. And of course, it validifies to some extent what we were doing all those years ago to get this appreciation now.
Yeah. Was there a particular scene in the film that you were so glad that they put in there that maybe helped? I think maybe helps people understand you and everything that you've gone through to get to this point.
I'm trying to think. I can't think of a particular, unless perhaps you could say when we were singing and performing at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Hopefully, people understood the joy and the thrill of us being up on that stage playing to 17,000 people and in some way being acknowledged as making a small contribution to contemporary music after all this time. That was 2019. The band finished in 1967.
Right.
It's a strange story, and it was a strange feeling, but a wonderful feeling being on the stage at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah, absolutely. And of course, people have looked up to you for years and years and thought, see, that's what I want to do. But of course, we come to find out, certainly not easy. And sometimes it doesn't get easy. So what kind of advice would you give to somebody who wants to follow in your footsteps?
Well, I think that everyone needs to have a degree of musicality, obviously, to succeed in the music business or to sustain a career in the music business. But what I think people sometimes don't realize that to get through the challenging times, you need to be tenacious. You need to have stamina and self-belief because it's a very up and down business. And you need to have that self-belief to get through the down periods. Everyone does. It's not, it's not dramatic. It's not, I'm not asking for sympathy or empathy or anything. It's just a fact of life that in the music business, there are going to be tough times and you have to be prepared for that before you come into the business.
Yeah, that's true. My co-host is Drew Pearson, one of our great Dallas Cowboys in American football, and he caught the Hail Mary, which we all know is a pop culture term. And we'd love to ask people their Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career where you just had to go for it and it worked out for you. What do you suppose that was for you?
Well, possibly thinking about it, when we were in our teens, we got the chance to go into a big rock and roll competition. And we went into that competition, to be absolutely honest, not thinking about winning it. We thought it would be fun to go into a rock and roll competition, and there were 100 bands that went in for it. It was 10 bands every week at a particular venue. Uh, we won the first week, and then we won the whole thing. So in a way, this is our Hail Mary moment, because from winning that competition, it led to a recording contract. We were just teenagers from a small town 30 miles north of London. There was no thought of us being professional musicians. We were playing for the love of music, and that was it. But from winning this competition, we were offered a recording contract. We recorded in our first session She's Not There, and it was #1 all around the world. So I thinking back, winning this competition was very, very important. It changed all our lives.
I love that. Well, part of it is, and getting through everything else is that success mindset. We talk about that on the show. Is there something that you tell yourself that keeps you on the right path always?
Well, I mean, I have to remind myself that you get out of life in proportion to what you put in. And it's my job to make singing look easy. But and it is easy if you're singing in the shower.
Yeah.
It's not so easy if you've had to travel all day and you're singing in front of thousands of people. It's fun. I mean, it's wonderful, but you have to prepare yourself for that. And so I have to make myself stay relatively fit and practice. You have to practice. So before I do a show, before sound check, I will do vocal exercises for about 35 minutes. And then before the show, I do the same set of exercises for 35 minutes. So before we perform, I will have sung for at least an hour. And this is the way I'm able to stay on the road at nearly 80 years old. And of course, it gets tougher as you get older. So you have to remember to hydrate, drink plenty of water, eat sensibly, get your sleep, and then practice.
Yeah, because touring these days is much different than it was in the 60s and 70s.
Well, it certainly is the difference between being 18 and 19 and being 80. There is a big difference. I didn't have to worry so much about what I ate and what I drank when I was 18. It was, I could be much more relaxed at that age. Now, I just have to take it a little bit more seriously. It's still fun, but you have to have a bit more structure in your life.
Absolutely, and of course, we have just heard about Rod, and we're hoping that he's doing okay. Obviously, he won't be touring with you, but just wanted to see if there's an update on him.
Rod is doing really, really well. I was with him just before we came away, and actually, my wife is having lunch with his wife tomorrow.
Oh, good.
So we live quite close, and so obviously we know exactly what's going on with Rod, as our families are very close, and he's doing really well. But he has decided that he's not going to tour anymore, and I think he's made the right decision. In many ways, it's really sad because touring with the Zombies is part of my life, but his health is paramount, and of course he has to put that first. And I think he's made the right decision.
Absolutely, and of course, we can't wait to see you back out on the road. Will we get you back on the side of the U.S. or in the great state of Texas anytime soon?
Well, I do hope so. I think over the summer I'm going to be predominantly recording, and then I have a little bit of live work in the autumn. But I'm hoping to have a finished album by Christmas, ready for next year, and then a touring path will open up, and I hope it will take me to the States, and I hope it'll take me to Texas as well.
Yeah,
of course.
That's wonderful. And then last thing, of course, there's so much to get out of this film besides, well, I mean, it's very enjoyable, but of course, there's a lot going on there. So what are you hoping that people will think about, talk about, take away when they see this?
Well, obviously, I hope that they understand the Zombies as people a lot better after they've seen the documentary. I hope they understand our career paths and how we got started and why the band had to finish. And then again, the reasons for Rod and I getting back together again and establishing the second incarnation of the Zombies, if you like, in 1999 and playing up until now. So really, I just hope that they understand the band a little better, and it'll reawaken an interest in zombie music and the people who are not familiar with it, and it'll reinforce interest in the zombie music and the people who are familiar with it. So I just hope they take away more of a knowledge of the Zombies and more of an interest in the Zombies when they've seen the documentary.
Oh, good. Well, the music continues to carry on. My daughter Sophia has discovered it, so and just the other night we were talking about it. So it's great that it continues on and it continues to reach people to this day.
Isn't that wonderful? Absolutely brilliant.
That's beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for your work in putting out this film, and thank you for the great answers. Look forward to seeing you back here very, very soon.
Absolutely. Been great talking
Okay,
to you.
thank you
All the
so
very
much.
best. Okay.
Okay,
Bye
take
bye.
care. Okay, bye bye.